First of all,
this is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
It might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the Sports Guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the show. We're on KG Watch here at the Sports Guy headquarters. Frustrated day for me yesterday. I learned the trade was going down Monday morning. Confirmed it from a few people. And I ripped out an ESPN.com column in something like 2 hours. Like, it was actually pretty good speed for me. So it was ready by like 5 o'clock, 5:30 Eastern time. And then the deal got held up, and so did my column. And finally, we said screw it, and we posted it at 10 o'clock p.m. with a disclaimer that the deal had not become official yet, which just stunk. I had the column ready. I hate when that happens. The good thing is that it looks like the deal is going to happen, because if it hadn't happened and I wrote this whole column about the deal that hadn't become official yet, I think that would have been the worst jinx in the history of sports, and I probably would have been excommunicated from Boston. So that would have been terrible. Anyway, I'm still in shock. I can't even ad-lib about this trade in a rational way. So let's bring in this week's guest. He's a phenomenally successful NASCAR driver. He just won his second All-State 400 at the Brickyard last weekend. And more importantly, he drives a car with the number 33 on it. Tony Stewart, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Now, I don't follow NASCAR that much, but if I picked a favorite driver, you'd be the leading candidate because of the 33 thing and because of your temper problems, which remind me of myself when I drive. In fact, I feel like you'd be me if I were a NASCAR driver. So I'm going to approach this like it's a job interview. Basically, you're interviewing for the job of Bill Simmons' first favorite NASCAR driver. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm all about that.
All right, cool. All right. Why did you pick the number 33? I'm hoping it's for the reason that I think it is.
Well, I mean, obviously it's because Kevin and Delana Harvick own it. And, if there's anybody that I wanted to drive for in the Busch Series, it was because it was Kevin and Delana. They're good friends of mine. And then when you've got, a sponsor like Old Spice that's on the team, it's a company that I really enjoy working with. They're really good friends of mine. And, between the two combinations there, I mean, I have a lot of fun running in the Busch Series for those two guys.
So they own the number. And that's the reason. I thought because you were from Indiana, I thought it was a Larry Bird thing.
No, it isn't a Larry Bird thing, but it is a coincidence, though, which is a good coincidence. Actually, Larry's got a piece of property out in the country that's fairly close to mine, so he's kind of close to us to a certain degree. So, but that is a good reason to have a 33 for sure, because he is definitely the man in the state of Indiana when it comes to for basketball.
See, you should have lied. You should have told me you picked it for Larry Bird. I would have been much more excited.
That angle first.
So he must root for you then, because you're wearing the 33.
Well, I hope so. I mean, we hope that's the case, but the Indiana boys, we normally stick together, though.
Yeah, you guys. It's not like the Mafia, but it's definitely, you guys are all tight. Now, you have a bunch of nicknames. Do you consider yourself having like one specific nickname? Is there one that you like the most?
Oh, Smoke's the one that stands out, probably.
Smoke.
We've had that nickname for 14 or 15 years now, so it's just when we're with the race teams, I give everybody a nickname, and either they have one when they come in, or if they don't have one when they come in, they get one shortly after. So
right.
It doesn't take long, and everybody has a nickname on the team.
See, I like Smoke. I think that's a good one. I think that would be a good football nickname, too.
Yeah, there you go.
You grew up in Indiana. Now, this could be a potential problem for us. Are you a Colts fan?
Oh, absolutely.
See, this is bad.
You gotta be a Colts fan.
This is bad. I'm a Pats fan.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to jump on a bandwagon once in a while. But I've been diehard Indianapolis Colts fan forever. I mean, it's when they're only 45 miles away from you, you got to pull for them.
Right. But you have to admit, I mean, they were in Baltimore until like 1983.
Yeah, and now they're getting better.
See, I've been a Pats fan since I was a little kid, and for years and years, the Dolphins were our rivals. Now the Colts have supplanted the Dolphins, and it's a real rivalry. I mean, there's some legitimate bad blood, I think, now. It's exciting.
Oh,
I'm excited for
absolutely.
this season.
Absolutely. I mean, that's games that we look forward to watching every year.
Did you go to the Super Bowl?
I did not go to the Super Bowl.
All right. That's good. I see, that makes me feel a little bit better. How many times have you seen Hoosiers?
Oh, God. In its entirety, probably only 3, but I've probably seen it 20 times or more, part of the movie.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. At what age did you realize that you wanted to race cars professionally?
About the age of 18. And that's when, after graduating high school and starting to work real jobs, I realized very quick that I was too lazy to get up early in the morning and work a real job. So if I could drive race cars, and at that time, 95% of my races were all at night. So if I could sleep in the morning and race in the evenings, I knew that was a lot better deal for me.
Wow. You see, now we're really clicking, because that you basically described why I got into writing sports columns, because
yeah, exactly.
I hate getting up early. In fact, when I was in college, I had one semester where I had every class scheduled noon or later, so I didn't have to get up. And I've really never had a 9-to-5 job ever, which is one of the things I'm the most proud of. So it sounds like we have that in common. Did you do the whole go-kart thing or no?
Yeah, I did. I actually started racing go-karts when I was 8 and raced them till I was 18. So learned a lot, got to run at a lot of neat places. I actually got to go to Daytona International Speedway the first time in a go-kart, racing in WKA and ran what they called enduro karts, which is like laying on your couch with your head propped up against the armrest. So that's what it was like. Got to race there in Rockingham and Charlotte, plus all the dirt tracks and other pavement ovals that we got to run.
Is that a necessity to get into driving? Is that like the first step before you get to the next level? Does everybody go through the go-kart thing?
To me, it's the most logical step. I mean, go-karting in this day and era has changed a lot since I ran there, obviously. But, to learn car control and you can run a lot of different variety of tracks with go-karts versus quarter midgets or anything else.
Now, I did the celebrity go-kart thing at the Super Bowl last year. I have a nemesis, this guy Tony Potts, who's an Access Hollywood driver, and just was really kind of uppity about the whole thing, had way too much confidence and excitement about it. And then we were in the semifinals, and he jumped the gun on me. He took off at yellow and ended up beating me. So I'm hoping that if we become friends, I can get you into one of these races, but you'll be posing as like an actor. Like we'll pretend you're on like Prison Break, like you're the third guard on Prison Break, and then you'll just dust Tony Potts.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. I mean,
all right.
Even if I can't run, I can give you some pointers and make sure that doesn't happen to you again.
Yeah, I really need to destroy him. I need to destroy him because I mean to jump on a yellow.
Yeah, that won't be an issue. No matter what he does, we'll make sure we've taught you the skills, everything you need to know to get the job done.
All right, he better be scared. Now, you've raced Indy 500 cars and NASCAR cars. Which is more fun to drive?
I think the Indy cars were more fun to drive, as far as if you're out there by yourself. But as far as being able to race in a crowd, the NASCAR Cup cars are a lot more fun than the Busch cars. So it's cool when we're driving the Old Spice car, especially a place like Talladega where you're 3 wide and buried 3 or 4 rows deep there, where the Indy cars they might run 2-3 wide for a little bit, but they don't normally get stacked up like we do on the restrictor track.
See, I went 117 on the Mare Parkway once. What kind of cars do you drive in your personal life?
I've got an H2 Hummer that I drive. It's basically my everyday car, but I've got a new BMW that I run also. You don't have like a fast sports car in that thing? Oh yeah, I've got a metallic orange Lamborghini Murcielago, but I don't drive it very much, obviously. But at least in Indiana, you could kind of go out and let loose a little bit. It's not like if you lived in L.A., you wouldn't be able to go faster than 40 miles an hour. Yeah, well, yeah, we can get a little bit better than 40 miles an hour. But there's not too many orange metallic Lamborghinis, so if somebody spots me and sees me going that fast, they pretty much know who it is. Do you ever have people pull next to you at a stoplight and recognize you and then like want to dust you when the light turns green? Oh yeah, the high school kids in town always want to do that. But, you never take them up on it though. Well, I'm smart enough to know how many officers we have in town, and to know the stretch of roads they always want to pick is always a stretch of road that the officers are hanging out on. So I've paid those speeding fines in the past, and a lot smarter than that now.
So you know all the officers in your neighborhood, basically, is what you're telling me.
Well, I know how many there are. I don't know all of them, but I know there's a lot of them.
All right. Could you ever date a woman who could not drive a stick shift?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, good.
No way.
Yeah, I feel the same way. What's the worst thing you've read about yourself on the internet?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've read all kinds of bad things about me, but nothing that I think is so terrible that I can't live with it. I mean, it's the one thing I've learned to do is, you know, when somebody writes something about you, it's their opinion, which is fine, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, your friends and family are what matters, and as long as, you know, they think you're all right, then I don't get too worked up over what I read. That's
good advice. You've mixed it up with Jeff Gordon in the past, which I like because I've never liked him for some reason. I don't really even have a reason. It's just one of those things. But what driver have you clashed with the most over the past 7-8 years? Has it been him?
I would say it's probably, you know, in all reality, it's probably been him. I mean, we've clashed with a lot of different guys at some point or another, but normally it happens one time and it never happens again. So, you know, Jeff and I have had a couple different times when we've had a difference in opinion, but, you know, nothing that's ever been too bad.
So you get along with him if you see him?
Yeah, we get along fine.
See,
it's kind of hard to not get along with somebody when you have to race with them 38 times a year, so
right.
A lot better circumstances to get along with them than not get along with them.
Yeah, because I was doing some research on you, and it seems like you have feuds that last for a couple weeks, and then it's fine after that.
Yeah, that's the way it normally happens.
See, if this was a sports movie, you would have a rival that you'd have for like 2-3 years, you know? And
yeah, we'd have to come up with a new guy, I guess.
Yeah, I think you need one. I think you have like Russell had Chamberlain, and A-Rod has the entire Red Sox team. I don't know. Walk me through the worst accident you ever had. What happened? What happened to the car? What were your injuries?
Would have to be in '96 in Las Vegas. We ran the first race ever at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we were running second in the IRL race there, and went into turns 1 and 2, and had the right rear tire blow out and spun 180 degrees and hit the concrete wall, and we were running well over 200 miles an hour then.
Oh.
And broke my pelvis, the back of my left hip, my collarbone, and my shoulder blade all on the left-hand side. So wasn't very fun.
Now, how long did it take for you to come back from that?
It took about 2 months to get to where I could get back in the car again.
And you were just, you weren't nervous, you weren't gun-shy at all?
No, not at all. I was just excited more than anything. I'd been out of the seat of a race car for 2 months and was really excited to get back in one.
Have you ever had one of those accidents where your car flips over and then it skids on the roof of the car for like half a mile?
Absolutely. The Old Spice car that I drive for Kevin and Delana, and we got sideways in a trioval at Talladega in a bush race, and it went up in the air and landed on its roof, and a guy hit us in the door while we were upside down, and then it slid probably, I would say, roughly over a quarter mile. It slid on its roof before it came to a stop. So you just kind of hanging upside down there hoping that it doesn't start flipping over and over again. I mean, once it was upside down, it was all right, just as long as it didn't grab and continue to flip.
Yeah, that always looks to me like it would be the worst amusement park ride ever. Just
yeah,
being upside down.
You don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah, like at least in the amusement park, you know it's eventually going to end with you getting off the ride. In this case, you're going through the emotions, but you don't know how the ride's going to end. I don't know. I think that would be terrible. Now, I'm really interested in the guys with the pit crew. Like, how many are there? Like 10, 11, 12?
There's 2 tire changers, a gas man, a catch can man, 2 tire carriers, and a jack man. So about 7, I guess. 7.
Plus, that's it? There's only 7?
That's how many go over the wall.
And how many are behind the wall?
Oh man, there's probably another 8 or 10 guys that are behind the wall that are guys that are there all weekend. But there's plenty of guys to make everything happen.
See, I think you should tip the guys who go over the wall. I think you should tip them after every race. I think it should be like how we tip bartenders and cab drivers and coffee baristas. Like you should give them each 100, just like for the job well done.
I would do it this way. I think you're onto something there. I would tip them for every stop that was under 14 seconds.
That's a good idea.
For every stop that was, or for under 14 seconds, every stop that was over 14 seconds, they have to tip me.
Ah, that makes sense. Is it
like an incentive program?
Have you ever had to fire a pit crew guy like right after the race, like somebody who just screwed it up for you?
No, I mean there's times when guys, have a mistake and have a bad stop, but there's times when I go out and I wreck the car and make a mistake, but those guys, you always rally around each other and you know that it's a mistake. I mean that's the human element back into racing, and it can happen. So when somebody has a bad stop like that, or I have a bad day and crash the car, you rally around each other and work hard to pick each other up and keep each other motivated.
Does everybody do that, or are there some guys who are jerks?
Oh, I'm sure there's some guys that are jerks, but I mean, our guys have been around each other a long time and very supportive of each other, and that's why we've been successful.
I like the tipping thing. I'd like to see you do that after a race. Just pull out a wad of hundreds and start handing them out. You're a native Hoosier, and you just won your second All-State 400 at the Brickyard, which I think is a fantastic name for a racetrack. Why did people get so mad that you were taunting your buddy during the race last weekend? It seemed like people were riled up about that.
I don't know. I mean, the people that get riled up about us doing something, or people don't like us anyway, so it doesn't matter who it is that it's against. But being able to race Kevin for the win, who like I said, is my Bushker National owner, and having him race me for the win was an awesome scenario for us. I mean, it's one of my best friends, and when you're racing 180, 190 miles an hour, I mean, it doesn't take much to make a mistake, and I screwed up and got too wide off of turn one and got into him a little bit, but it wasn't going to change the outcome of the race. We were still, even if we didn't touch him, we were still going to win the race, and it had a lot more. We had a lot more opportunity to screw ourselves up than we did to screw him up. So it definitely wasn't anything intentional, and life goes on.
What about when you everybody was excited that you drank from the water bottle during the race? Explain that whole process to me. You're going 200 miles an hour, and you were drinking from a water bottle. How can you even do that?
Easy. I was thirsty.
No, but I mean, what was holding on to the wheel?
I just picked my leg up and was holding it straight with my legs, so it wasn't any big deal. I mean, easy.
So you had a straightaway, and you held the wheel with your legs, and then you grabbed the water bottle and you drank from it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. See, I was on the Merritt Parkway once, and I drove for about 20 minutes while I was eating McDonald's with both hands, having the milkshake in one hand with the burger in the other and all that stuff. And it is possible. You can do it. I was only going like 70 miles an hour. You were going 200. But
yeah, I don't recommend too many people do that. But
there is an art to driving with your legs. I mean, it's something that you can get the hang of, and it's actually like pretty easy to do. You just have to hope nothing weird happens.
Exactly.
Now, you're fifth in the NASCAR Cup standings right now, which you won in 2005. Is there an actual cup that you get?
Well, it's not actually a cup anymore, but it is a neat trophy that is handcrafted. It takes actually 8 months to make the trophy.
Really?
So
what do they make it out of?
I don't know, but I think it's made by Tiffany and Company. I think is who makes it. So it's a one of a kind piece of artwork that they make.
Well, why wouldn't they make it a cup? Like it should look like the Stanley Cup.
Exactly. You'd have to ask Nextel that. They're the ones that came up with what it looks like, but it's still pretty neat looking trophy. I mean, it's not even the trophy; it's just the idea that you were the team that did it better than anybody else that year.
Yeah, but if you're going to put Cup in your title, I think people are expecting
should have a cup, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think they need to work on that. If anybody's listening from the NASCAR Cup,
glad it's not the Dixie Cup series.
After we confirmed the date for this podcast, you won back-to-back races. You did not credit me after either of the races. I want to know why.
Well, I don't remember what you contributed to the team that day.
Well, all I know is, you decide to come on the show and you win back-to-back races. I think I get a little bit of credit. You don't think so?
Well, kind of sounds like you're riding my coattails to a certain degree, don't you think?
I think it's a little of both. Well, now, I mean, if you keep winning, if you win your next couple races, then clearly something's happening here.
Right. And if I keep winning like this, we'll keep doing the show every week. Trust me.
All right. The last potential problem we have is you're an Old Spice guy. I actually use Brickyard. I don't know how we're going to work through that. Sell me on Old Spice. So why should I make the switch?
Well, if you want to have more girls hang around you, it'll be an easy decision, obviously. I mean, Old Spice isn't just the scent that your grandfather had years ago. I mean, they got a bunch of new scents and body washes and everything that are current for everybody, the new generation, and it's back to being cool again. I mean, we've made it a cool scent again.
You know what's weird is that when you're in your formative years, you make decisions on things, and you don't even know how those decisions are made, like toothpaste, deodorant, stuff like that. Like just when you're 11, you start using whatever deodorant your dad used, or you start using whatever toothpaste your parents used, and then for some reason you never switch. Like you're tied to those products for the rest of your life. And I've been using Brickyard for. And by the way, this is not I'm not trying to promote Old Spice. I'm just saying it's interesting that I'm tied with Brickyard for reasons that are unclear to me. So I might dabble in the deodorant universe with Old Spice.
I think you should step out of the box for a week and try a new scent by Old Spice. They've got plenty of different scents to choose from, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, if you know, I think it's looking like you're going to become my first favorite NASCAR driver, but I think as a gift to you, I'm going to try an Old Spice product because I know it's important to you. And,
I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm at a loss for words right now.
I figured you would be.
I'm very appreciative.
Well, this is good. So what's your next race?
We run at Pocono this weekend, so pretty excited about that. We had a good top 5 run there in the spring race before it got rained down, and I'd say we got a shot at winning again this week. Maybe the first time in our career that we actually could have a three-peat.
And what's the biggest race left this year?
Well, I'm not sure that there's any single biggest race. I mean, the Brickyard is typically the biggest race at the end of the season, but the chase for the championship is really the big thing that's left.
Right. So it's a series of not as big races that will determine who wins this Nextel Cup, where they don't give out a cup.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It's
all right,
more,
we're going to work on that.
More at this point, just the scenario of gathering points for the rest of the year.
All right. Well, I'm going to start following this, and we'll see how it turns out. I feel like this. We have a lot of common stuff here. The Colts Pats thing, I'm very worried about, but maybe we can work through that.
You're going to just have to give me a mulligan on that because I was born in Indiana. I mean, it's kind of a given.
I know, and like the Catholics can marry the Jews, and Yankee fans can marry Red Sox fans. So I feel like we could work through this, but we'll see.
We might have to go to counseling together or something to get through it, but I think we can do it.
All right. Good luck with the rest of the season. Good luck winning the Nextel Cup. That's not a cup, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, bud. Thanks.
All right. Normally we end these things with the segment called Johnny, Are You Worried Yet?, where I call my Yankee fan buddy to see how worried he is this week about the Yankees. But we're going to hold off on that until Thursday because we have another podcast coming this Thursday. It's a rare 2-for-1 special for you this week. And I also wanted to hold off because of the trade deadline, which is about an hour away from happening as we tape this. So I want to see what the Yanks do and what the Sox do. So we will be back on Thursday with another podcast. I won't tell you who the guest is. See you then.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.